On to the next one. Ian is casting his spotlight on African Magic Viewers' Choice Award winner for Best Documentary, Stanlee Ohikuare, who bagged the statuette for his documentary entitled Deadwood. In this interview, Ohikuare tells us the inspiration behind the true life documentary.
Stanlee Ohikuare is a movie maker, cinematographer, scriptwriter, visual artist, and many more.
Personally, I wasn't trained as a filmmaker. I was trained as a fine artist. I specialized in painting when I graduated from the university. So everything about filmmaking I'm doing today, the things I taught myself essentially. So officially I've not been to any film school. So I'm just a self-taught filmmaker with a passion to make movies. Yeah.
His foray into motion pictures began with shooting commercials and creating animations.
You know, I'm a special breed.
First of all, like I said, I'm a trained fine artist. I never got any formal training in filmmaking. So everything, my strength in filmmaking is as a result of the fact that I'm an artist. And I got training as a fine artist as well. I specialized in painting. So it's all that experience, all that knowledge, all that technical know-how that I'm bringing into the filmmaking industry. And I think at the end of the day, it's more about passion than training. There are a couple of great, well-known filmmakers out there who actually never went to film school. They just had the passion for it. I'm not saying it's bad to go to film school, but if they have the opportunity to go to film school, it doesn't knock you out as a possible candidate for filmmaking. You know, so I think at the end of the day, if you have a story to tell and you are persistent enough to just learn the nitty-gritty, whether from school or on your own, at the end of the day, you have the opportunity to do
it. If she dies, Shaquille dies too.
Yeah, I started out shooting commercials. That was the first time I expressed myself as a director, shooting commercials. But even prior to that, I was working on an animated movie. But you know, animation is not like real life, so I have to. In animation, I'm just making the characters what I want. In real life, you have to tell the people what to do. So in terms of directing real human beings, it started with TV commercials. I think after doing TV commercials for a couple of years, I just decided that, you know, I've had enough of commercials. Let me do movies that can go to the cinemas. And the first one that came about as a collaborative effort. You know, I collaborated with Grace Edwin-Okon, with whom I've done a couple of movies so far, in shooting a movie called Heavy Duty. Yeah, so that was my first feature film.
Many questions I like to ask, so you can understand exactly how I feel. Tell me how many people.
It might not be as financially gratifying as shooting TV commercials, but I'm doing stuff that have my name on them, right? You know, shoot a TV commercial, it doesn't have your name on it. You can't actually be so rewarded or recognized by what you've done with a TV commercial. But with a movie, whether it's a short movie, a documentary, a feature film, it has a signature on it. So wherever it goes in the world, they know who's responsible for the production.
His movies are characterized by adventurous stunts with a touch of horror, which is a total break from the Nollywood norm.
Come here.
Come here.
again, it's just the need for expression. You know, I easily get bored. Even the way I arrange my chair in my office, if I sit that way for like 1 month, I start getting bored. I have to change the arrangement. So when movies are all about the same thing all the time, sometimes it gets boring. So an action movie, as long as it's true to its name, an action movie can never be boring. You know, even the production behind it can be boring because the thinking that goes to every scenario that is being replicated, that's being depicted in the movie, the way you plan it in pre-production and execute it during production and fine-tune it in post-production is always different from scenario to scenario, you understand? So at the end of the day, I think I'm more passionate about doing things that have to do with action. I like thrillers, like horror movies. Yeah, it's not as if I don't like love stories and all that, but I think I'll be able to express myself more with thrillers and action stories.
Because he pays extreme attention to details, he brings everybody on a project in from the beginning.
I operate in the capacity of director and cinematographer on most of my productions. So I'm a shooting director. That means I'm always behind the camera and director at the same time. And it's just there. On the set, the director is the lead man. Once you establish that order, I don't think you can have issues with ego. And you've done your casting, you've done your audition, and you've gotten the actors. I think there's a very careful process of selection that goes through getting who plays what role in a movie. So if during pre-production and you're trying to cast people and you begin to see the ego stuff and all that, it's better you just find someone else. Anything that will give you issues on set, you try and avoid as much as possible. There's no one person who is so talented that you cannot find someone who will match him or her.
I thought it wasn't me. We had a big fight that day.
Even whether I write the script or not, is a necessary time for pre-production, which is about 3 months before we start shooting. So in 3 months, we've done a script conference with all the technical people on set. And after the script conference with the technical people, the producer and every other person, we involve the main actors. You understand? And we let them air their views and everything. So if we give 3 months for pre-production and we discuss the whole script and everybody's involved, and I go back as the cinematographer and director while I do my storyboard and I plan my shots, and I have like an airtight pre-production manual or a journal, and it's like everything is planned. It's just to go on set and actualize it.
His documentary about life as a pensioner in Nigeria, titled Deadwood, carted away the African Magic Viewers' Choice Prize for Best Documentary Director in 2014.
Many did die while waiting for payment of pension and gratuity. Some others did not wait to get home. At least one, to my knowledge, collapsed and died in the treasury premises while waiting for his turn to collect his pension, when such payments were made in cash.
The story was about pensioners, you know, how their plight, the issues they go through. Some of them, they tell them to come and collect their pensions. They go there for months, they don't get it. Some people die while on the queue. Some die of heart attacks, some die of diseases and all that. And to crown it up, a certain state governor came out and said, if the pensioners don't have children who can take care of them, they should go home and die. So that aggravated Dr. Chigo, and he wrote that article and published it in July 2010. So 2012, 2013, we started looking at the whole thing, then we shot it. We made a documentary out of it, actually a docudrama, because we had to reenact some of the things he was talking about, And I must say we didn't do that because we were looking for an award. We did it because we wanted to join our voices to preach that message, that pensioners should not be allowed to just die like that. These are people who have built the country to this point. They've played their own roles and all that. So shouldn't just allow them to degrade and suffer until they die, and nobody even cares about them anymore.
Companionship, something we, the old and almost forgotten, cherish more than life, as we dread loneliness even more than death.
Sadly, Dr. Chigbo now lives with a partial stroke and has lost his wife.
And although these clubs could not be regarded as old people's homes, being purely recreational and social, that one member burst into tears on getting to his club and finding that the club had been closed by court order as a result of litigation. His fellow pensioners joined in the wailing. Our bones might be frail, but our hearts still crave for all forms of human emotion.
Going forward, Ohikuare is still looking to outdo himself.
Looking more at shooting things like epics, some things, movies that you can fuse CGI with real life to tell strong African stories. There are a lot of African Nigerian stories surrounding the ancient Benin Kingdom, the Queen Amina of Zaria. You have stories about Oduduwa. You have stories about Shango. You have stories about. There are a lot of stories that we've not even touched. So if we don't do it, the white man will take the stories and they'll shoot it. It's straight up. And once they've done it, they don't even try doing it again.
I am 105 years old. Yes, I have outlived my husband and children. My grandchildren have no time for me. They have written me off as that crazy old woman. So, what do I do now? Can I go back to my village? Of course not. I may be old, but I am certainly not stupid.
A total unassuming and charismatic fellow, Stanlee Ohikuare's mantra is, "Why walk when you can fly?" So it is no surprise to see him continuing to raise the bar as far as action movie is concerned in Nollywood.